So yeah, I'm Cheryl, the DC medium. And so I do life path readings, which is career, finances, relationships, etc. Not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. So any real advice that you want, go to the pros on that. And then I am a medium and I connect with spirit on the other side. So I'll bring in your loved ones and see what they have to say. I'll just talk a little bit about myself and my journey, and who doesn't like talking about themselves? But so, as most mediums will say, that they've had this experience all their lives. But for me, while I had it, I wasn't able to validate it. So I didn't really believe, I believed it, but I didn't believe it, but I didn't know. And there were a couple things that happened that allowed me to go, okay, I'm not making this stuff up, right? So there was a time in high school, I'm walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden I feel like I just got stopped by a wall of bricks. And I was like, oh, something's wrong with my Uncle Terry. Oh, I'm going to go to the payphone and call my mom. My mom was a teacher. She was staying at home at that point. So I called her from the payphone, put the quarter in. And for those of us who remember payphones, and she's like, I'm sure, everything's fine. We would have heard something, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure you need to call Nana and, find out what's going on because something's wrong. So then I get home from school. She had left a message on Nana's answering machine. And later that night at 7, we get a call from Nana who says, Uncle Terry's in the hospital and it's a terminal issue. So as much as I was like, that's no bueno, right? I was also like, oh my God, I was right. So that's a weird feeling to have as a kid, is to get messages that are negative and that, are right. And then the clinch, there's a bazillion stories in between, but the clincher was I was in yoga class in Reston, and I'm pointing over there, like Reston's over there or something. But I was in yoga class, and all of a sudden my Nana, same Nana, appears, and I was like, Nana just died. Okay, finish up class, looked at the clock, it was 9:08. Walk out to the car, which is where my phone is, because you're not supposed to bring your phone into yoga class. And the phone's already ringing, and it's my dad. And I answered the phone. Nana died. And he goes, yeah, how'd you know? And I was like, she came to me at 9:08 and said goodbye. And he's like, that's the minute she died. It's like, okay, now I'm totally not making this shit up, right? So I was telling my friend Fiona about it. And she said, you should take a class. I'm like, do I have classes for this stuff? I literally, like, this is how spiritual I was before. I was raised Catholic, and then I wanted nothing to do with anything out there, right? It's like, I don't know if any of that, I believe any of that stuff. And now I, kind of get it now, right? So I had no idea this community existed, that all these amazing classes existed, all these amazing people existed. And once I found a teacher, and I, of course, Googled, right? And I'm looking at people's websites, and they're like, yeah, you don't really look legit. I couldn't really tell who was legit or not. I got lucky. If any of you know Celeste Woods, I'm seeing some head nods. Okay, she was my teacher. And so I got certified through her. And we had a great relationship, great time. And so I got lucky, but not everyone does, right? So sometimes you end up with some not as trained professionals. And so anyway, starting my business, I love doing this. And to me, it's just so fulfilling. I love helping people, and that's what fills my heart. And then So I decided, okay, I'm going to make this like a business. And right now it's like a side job, right? I haven't left my day job, and which I'll tell you about in a minute. But starting up a company, a small business by myself, oh my gosh, all the things you have to do to start a business, and then social media. And I'm terrible at social media. I'm just like, oh my God, that's not my thing. I can't create stuff. That's just not my forte. I'm by day, I'm a client relationship executive, which is a really fancy word for a salesperson at a large global consulting firm. And my clients are federal government.
There's
You're on
no
mute.
audio. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. What did you guys hear last?
Federal government.
Okay, federal government. Yeah, so you didn't missing. So that's my day job, and as part of that, I help small businesses grow. I work with small businesses, look at their structure, look at their growth, and see or their strategy, and help them grow. And then, you've got like a bazillion hats as a consultant. I also lead our Well-Being at Work program for our federal practice, bringing things into the company and to our clients. What's interesting about that is I'm admitting all these people, Alice. I don't know if you're seeing them too, but I'm just like, admit. So I might beat you to it, but it's like that little thing pops up over Jane's head for me. So, and then, but one of the things I was thinking as, I'm growing my DC medium practice, and kind of like what I love about it and what I don't like so much is that's kind of a problem I wanted to solve. I'm like putting my consulting hat on is, me as the DC medium, I want to help people. I want to live my passion to do that. And I know a lot of other practitioners do too. But then you're bogged down with all of this administrivia, all of the things that you have to do to get there. Is the social media and the outreach and the, collaborating with people. And that, I like collaborating with people, but not everything in the accounting and all of that stuff. So that's why I started SoulConX, because I didn't feel like there was one place that people could go to find reputable practitioners that you could really trust, that you can have a connection with, and then from a practitioner side, having that, I'll say the all-in-one business management, so you can really focus on your passion. Along with that is through my work at my consulting firm, well-being is huge, right? It's been huge, but now with COVID, it's really huge. And this is a huge opportunity for us to really uplift this industry, to make it mainstream, to get people to really understand the value. I think some people get it, but they get it in private, or they'll get it in a community that, you don't talk about it at work, but you'll talk about it amongst like a safe place. Does anyone else experience that too? Like coming out of the spiritual closet, right? So Lisa, can you tell me like your, Lisa, yeah, your story? I'm like, there's a couple Lisas, but the one who's like, where, like that, like coming out of the spiritual closet.
Well, hi, Alice, and hi, Cheryl. Actually, I might still be in the closet a little bit. I learned from Alice during the COVID how to do Reiki, so I became a Reiki master. But I started joining a church, a metaphysical church, so that's where I kind of get my group of friends. But like the neighborhood, and here in Arlington, I just kind of keep, slowly I keep to myself. I don't advertise it as being a Reiki master, but I am starting to work at a metaphysical church. So I kind of like being there and understanding a lot of this new wellness and this new practice. And thank goodness we have a whole bookstore of metaphysical stuff, because I'm learning so much.
Mhm.
It's
That's
very
great.
interesting. Yeah.
So what prevents you from truly coming out of the closet?
Well, it's a good question. I guess fear. Fear. My ego a little bit. I'm trying to learn how to stop the fear and just jump in and do this. That's, yeah. Plus I have family members that probably disapprove of this. And so that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. And it is scary. And I always ask my guides, is it okay to say this or not? Do I like send out a little tester to see how that goes?
Mhm.
And it's amazing once you do send out that test or ask your guide, is it okay to say something or not? Once you send that tester out, it's amazing because, for example, I was with a client and he leads strategic futures for a large federal agency. And thinking about futures, like psychic, right? And there's a lot of techniques. Like one of the guys we work with SoulConX, his name is James Wanless, and he has his own he calls it his Voyager program, but he uses this tarot deck. And he's worked with Harvard to come up with a predictive futures thing using tarot. So instead of being like boxed into this is what I know, and then I take what I know and then I move it over here, you're releasing that and you're using tarot as a way to kind of expand that art of the possible. So anyway, I mentioned that to my client, and he sat back a second. We're at lunch. He sat back a second. I was like, oh shit, right? Like one of those like, oh shit moments, like, hi, you're killing me here. And anyway, he goes, so my grandfather wrote several books on controlled remote viewing, and I practice that, and I do spoon bending, and I do this and that. And I was like, right? Like dream client, right? So how do we bring this into business in a way that's really exciting? So there's a lot, I think there's so many opportunities, not only for us to help ourselves and help our like friend community, but even from an employee well-being or from a strategic perspective at business, people are more open to it. Like my company is having like not weekly, but regular sound healing sessions virtually. I mean, that's really cool. So this is like, we're going to be the cool kids at the lunch table. That's what I'm thinking, right? So I'm excited about that. And I feel like I've been talking a lot and you guys are like, when are you going to get to the readings? But is there, and we can talk, like we can do Q&A at the end too, but I wanted to see if anyone had anything now they wanted to chat about before I start delving in.
Hello, this is Susie. How are you?
Hi, Susie.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I found out about 5 weeks ago, I stumbled upon it, that I am an empath. And so I've been reading the Empath Survival Guide, and I know that I've always known that in my youth, I experienced 2 out-of-body experiences. And the world just pounds that out of you. But when I found out I was an empath, it brought all that up again. And I'm excited and scared and excited to learn all about that and what I am capable of and what my gifts are.
That's amazing. How did you figure out you were an empath?
I'm telling you, it was out of the universe or something, because I couldn't even tell you. I was just online looking this up and that up and nothing to do with it. And this popped up and I was interested. And every question they asked, everything they said, I was like, oh, that explains a lot. All
Mhm.
these different characteristics I have, right down to the fabric, that I have to have soft fabric, and just crazy little things and big things as well.
That's amazing. Well, that's good that once you realize, and not that labels are a thing, but it just helps you kind of define what's going on with you. So I love that you were able to figure that out, and now you have, something to Google, right? Something to look into and figure out how to deal with. So
I was able to forgive myself for a lot of stuff that I always thought I was weird,
well, weird is good. That's where I go. Weird is good. Love it. Cool. Any other
Hi,
questions?
Cheryl. It's Danielle.
Hi, Danielle.
How are you? So I
Hi.
have to say, I did message you in the group chat to everyone. I own a small business.
Oh, you went on mute, Danielle.
Sorry. So I own a small business, and I always wanted to include my spiritual work and all the sound healing, because sound healing really, really helps me. And I wanted to bring that in. So it gives me the reassurance that it is a possible thing to bring in our spiritual work and help other people, because that just helps ground me so much.
No, that's amazing. What kind of business do you own?
So I actually do expediting in the construction industry. A little bit different than what you would think.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think, and I would love everybody else's opinion too. I think it's creating the space and being allowed, and also allowed not to be comfortable with it. Right. So if you're not we're going to do this. If you'd like to join, please join us. If you don't want to, don't worry about it. You can go off to work and do your thing.
Yeah.
So absolutely. And I think there's a lot of things like that from a work perspective, and they tend not to call it spirit, they'll call it purpose. And really it's all about that energy. What's that energy get? People buy into meditation. So if you call it a sound meditation, people will be like, oh, okay. But you call it sound healing or singing bowls or some sound bowls. They're like maybe a little more reserved if they're not familiar with it. So sometimes you have to use language that they're going to be comfortable with, and then let that, I'll say, snowball from there. Has anyone else seen kind of intuitive arts brought into the workplace? No one?
I'll say something, Cheryl. This is Christine. Yeah, I worked with a psychotherapy office, and they were very much into that. It's actually the psychotherapy office is like the owner was looking to expand it into more modalities and stuff like that. That feeds into massage therapy, Reiki, and those sorts of things. And even at our own like we would have every other Wednesday, like a staff meeting. And during those staff meetings, we would do like meditative exercises and things like that and incorporate that into them. So that I thought was really cool, because that's definitely the first time I've experienced that in a workplace. So
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Yeah, one of the things I noticed too, it's like in my consulting job, it's like meeting. And like, you don't have time to think, right? And so what I brought into my team there is we're going to, instead of doing like a meeting, or just like where you're off the cuff, and I don't want to say brainstorming, but you're off the cuff talking, we're going to tee up a topic, and then we're going to meditate together. We're going to connect our energy, and then we'll talk, right?
Exactly.
Because people do not have time to think anymore. And so that's how I kind of position it. It's like, okay, let's give ourselves time to think. We can do it as a meditation. We can do it, just whatever, but let's think together. No talking, what have you. And it goes over really well, and it's amazing. Well, you all and I know that we're all connecting to the same source, the same universe, the same Akashic record. So we're going to get very similar messages. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe you came up with the same thing I did. I'm like, so it's really cool. So,
Cheryl, this is Eve. May I share something?
Sure.
Well, I haven't specifically brought, like I do energy healing, and I haven't brought those things into my workplace. And I do know other people have, but I think my experience, my background is a bit similar to yours in that, well, even there was no religion or spirituality growing up. I was 100% logical, and then later in life, had a complete switcheroo. And so, initially I think, I had reservations about talking about these things, but my experience, and maybe this is similar to some others and helpful to others who are concerned about sharing their perspectives, is that as soon as I got on this path, also people just showed up who had similar interests. And when I dared to start talking, it didn't matter where I was. I could be in a foreign country at a business meeting, and somehow I'd end up in a long conversation with someone who had, completely different, who was really interested or doing similar things. And I have found, because I work in international development, and that virtually everyone is somewhat interested when I bring it up. And not everyone will want to say. I had a board member asking me if I do energy healing on him, which for me, there was a little bit of a boundary issue there, but but I just want to encourage people. I think you might be surprised when you do share it, how many people either already are doing something, or like, I've really been wondering about that, or I've been thinking about it. It's like you said, Cheryl, I mean, this is just the moment. Interest in these things is just blowing up. Just
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I think you'll find your people.
That's cool. I just lost what I was going to say.
Cheryl, I just wanted to add one thing too, and this is going to kind of piggyback on what Eve just said. When I was told by my guides that I've heard since I was 8 years old, so I heard voices from the time I was 8, never made anything of them. I thought it was my own mind talking to me and just showing me how to be smart, because it was mainly how to do my homework. But when my voices told me I had to teach about God, I was so horrified that I literally cried convulsively and put my head down on the coffee table. This was in '88. And I said, I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm not a minister. I'm not a minister's wife. I'm not a minister's child. And so they backed off. But then when the voices continued to insist that I'm to teach about God and I'm to do this work, then I said, all right, I'll make a deal with you. And I talked to God directly, because that's the way I am. And I just said, if I have to do this, I absolutely want you to send me the people that are ready and willing and able to hear what I have to say. And I don't want a whole bunch of critics. I don't want a whole bunch of people bashing me. I don't want a whole bunch of prove it, because I can't prove what I'm telling you. And effectively, that's the way I've lived the new part of this life of mine. And I would say, since I've gone quote unquote public for, in the past 20 odd years, I've had maybe 3 complaints in 20 odd years. That's not bad, from the hundreds of thousands of people that I've talked to and have had sessions with. So all the fears that I had about being ridiculed, about being criticized, none of them materialized. Because I think Lisa mentioned it earlier. She said fear. And my fear was ridicule. I didn't want to be ridiculed for what I had spent my whole life building a reputation as a honest, truthful, 100% successful real estate broker. Now I'm going to be selling God. It just seemed so weird, to me. But God, the universe has your back. God has your back. Your guides have your back. So it's going to work out. All you have to do is set your intent, make your commitment.
That's great.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for sharing that.
And thank you for allowing it to be.
Sure. It's your thing. I'm just a guest. It's funny. And I'm really glad you said that, because as I am building up SoulConX, I'm looking for like proof, right? So I'm looking for scientific stuff that validates what I'm getting, what we do, that I'm going to say alternative medicine way. And there's such a shortage of medical, clinicians, physical or mental clinicians right now, and even more so after COVID. I think
can we go the long way home?
Things jumped like, I forget the thing, like tenfold or something. And I'm making that up, but it's huge. It's like a big difference. And it's like 3 million more people in the United States are seeking out, not needing, seeking out mental health services. But there was already a gap. In the world, there's a 1 in 10,000 ratio from mental health practitioner to seeker. And now it's way worse. So to me, these type of services, energy healing, psychic mediumship, sound healing, all of that, this is our time to support. This is when we can really be helpful to other people in a big, big way, because there's already a gap. Now there's a huger gap. There's a huger gap. And we're there, and we have the time to spend with people where medical doctors, for example, they get their 10 or 15 minutes in with a patient. We're not limited by that. And I'm just glad that we can complement. I know it's not a replacement, but that we can complement the conventional medicine. So I feel like it's our time, and then kind of making it more mainstream. I mentioned earlier, well-being is such a big, people are really recognizing well-being, but they're not really always understanding how that intuitive art side plays in. So as I'm building SoulConX, I'm trying to tie each service to well-being. And even NIH had done a study around energy healing and how it actually makes an impact on people over and above mental health practitioners. And so I thought that was really cool. There is very limited research out there, at least that I could find, on intuitive arts. And I know like Deepak has his foundation where they do research, and then there's a couple other cells, but there's really not a lot around it. So when it's not proven, it's harder to kind of, get people to buy in, because there are a lot of skeptics and naysayers that have a loud voice. But to me, you just got to push through that. Oh yeah, Wendy, I would love from Wendy, please provide the research you found.
We should share.
That would be great. Thank you. Because
I have some.
It's like searching through like a haystack. So thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome. I know like Windbridge did some on psychic mediums but yeah, that would be awesome. Cool. Anything else? Okay. So I got some questions in advance. So I'm going to start with those. If you have a question, a specific question or specific person you'd like to hear from, feel free to pop it in the chat. Otherwise, I'll just, blurt out whoever comes to me or what have you. And let's see. So I'm going to switch to my handy dandy. All right. Mimi, is it okay for me to say your question out loud?
Yes.
Okay. Oops, here. Okay. All right. I would like to know my life's lesson in order to overcome my medical issues. So what I got is from your guides is, in short, that you can overcome them. All issues come from energy, and the energy is driving our decisions, which drive our well-being. So they're asking you to fix your energy from the past and the present, and then take action on what you know needs to happen to be healthy, and it will come. They're also showing me that sometimes we work against ourselves. So like, and I'll use myself for an example. I want to lose weight and be healthy, and I know what the right things to do are. However, and then I ask the universe to help me, right? You're supposed to set that intent, you manifest, and it will come, right? But then a piece of pizza also comes my way, and all bets are off, right? So do you think I'm helping myself? Do you think the universe or even I truly believe that I'm ready to change? So the answer is no there. So what happens is I just created a conflict within myself and the universe, actually making it more difficult to lose weight. So not all medical issues are meant to be solved. They're meant to be accepted, or so that I'm seeing like multiple things going on with you. Some can be solved, like in that you are in control. Others are accept. And hold on just a sec. And it's more about your resilience and kind of not giving up, managing it, not giving up. So yeah, is that helpful?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see here. Okay, Karen. And by the way, I don't remember my readings. So I may have seen you, like I may recognize your face or something like that, but I may not remember your name or anything about you. I've done readings for the same person like 5 times, and every time they're like, oh my God, that's what you said last time. Well, I don't know. So it's not my thoughts, it's spirit, and spirit just comes right through. So I don't necessarily retain it unless we have a conversation about it. So Karen asked, a few months ago back, you answered a question for me about my ex-boyfriend who pretty much blindsided me and ended our 3.5-year relationship last summer with no warning and no contact from him since. I was left trying to figure out what happened and piece things together on my own. I've healed tremendously, good for you, and have moved on for the most part. However, I get stuck with the wondering if he ever regrets his choice, if he made a rash decision and realizes he made a mistake. So what your guides are telling me is that he is so afraid of conflict that he couldn't tell you what was really going on in his life and why he had to cut ties so abruptly. Like I feel like it's cut ties, but like completely ghosted. Just we're going great, and the next day you don't hear from him ever again. And he had a little more scandalous stuff going on. I'm not going to use the word regret. I'm going to use the word it's not even a word. He puts you in this box and like in the back of his brain kind of thing. He may like kick the box every once in a while. I feel like he does miss you, but I also feel like he feels trapped so that he cannot reach out. So regret, not really, but wonders and thinks about you, yes. Okay. Let's see. Carol, is there any key, any light that can help me rise up as I've been able to in life, before in life? Is there forward to go to? Okay, so one, this is something you can figure out and manage. But I'm also seeing that you are super hard on yourself. Like anything goes wrong, you're just like stupid. And no, like, I don't know, I can't see you, Carol, if you're here, but I just feel like you're really hard on yourself. And I get like a stop that, like, you know, don't. It's, sorry, they're talking. Okay, so I've never had this before. Your guides are coming up and like giving a big, huge, like bear hug of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make it that hard, you know, kind of thing. And they're saying, okay, we're going to lighten up. They feel like you've been pressed, I'm going to say, to the brink, and that they're going to make things easier, but they also need you to allow that that sometimes I'm going to use you're too smart for your own good. You like think about all the scenarios and what could happen, how it could happen, and like how you can divert risks. And they want, while that's in some way a good thing because you can, you know, react or that way, they want you more to focus on the opportunity than they do on the risks. So what is that opportunity of what could be, and move towards that. So I see you like, I'm seeing like a hot air balloon, like up and away, like this is amazing. I get this view over everything. I'm being lifted with light and love and the clouds and unicorns and rainbows and stuff. And wow, it's so weird. I've never had a guide apologize, right? So the guide's just saying we like puts you too far. And so they're lightening up. I can't get that word out right now. So I hope that's helpful. Thanks, Carol. Okay. Let's see, Emily. Thank you for offering your services to us. Like many of us, my life is kind of a mess and could use some higher guidance. Not sure if you can channel my higher self. That would be ideal. If not, I would still gratefully accept higher guidance. She says, I'm having trouble keeping a job. I've hopped around from one to another. I don't know what could cause this frustration. Is it my personality, my performance, or am I not doing what I'm supposed to in life, my life purpose? And what is my life purpose? I just opened an Etsy jewelry shop, but unsure about it. I'm lost and feeling tired of the circles. Can you help me, please? So I hear you. You know, we all go through a mess sometimes. And what I get is you actually know what to do. You need to truly listen to understand what people are telling you and what you hear in that inner voice. So they're showing me that people are telling you, and you're either not buying it or not willing to move that forward or what have you. Or it takes time. Like sometimes changing your behavior or your attitude about something isn't like a light switch. It's something you have to practice. So people can tell me day and night that, you know, I'm I don't know, like when I present, I don't use my arms like I should, right? But that just them telling me that does not make it happen. So I have to practice that. So how do I, and this is really bad because I'm on Zoom, but how do I use my arms in a way that, you know, people will understand? And I've got that nonverbal communication that people get. It's not like a switch. It's something you have to practice, but you also have to see it in yourself and believe it, even though that's not what you feel like you're projecting. That is what people are receiving. So listening to that is important, and not being dismissive, being taking it seriously and accepting that that's their truth, which may or may not be your truth. Does that make sense to you, Emily?
I got a part of it. So you're saying that I know what I should be doing. I just wasn't sure if I should like have a completely change in direction in the corporate world, go into more creative direction. But I don't know if I can make it. Is that what you're referring to, the inner guidance?
So it's funny, your guides do not want me to tell you what your purpose is. They want you to, sometimes they're like, yes, it's smiling, you know, your purpose is smiling. But as far as your career is not your purpose. I can tell you that. It's what you do, you know, to make money. And through that, you may serve your purpose, or your purpose may be completely different. I had a client before, and she was all like job and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, that's how she defined herself. And she had a 4-year-old son. And I said, so your son, and I'm showing her, I'm seeing like, I can't think of the guy's name. You guys remember the Terminator and John, the kid who was like the savior, saved the world? I'm like, that's what they were showing me. Like, your job is to raise him in such a way that he is strong and powerful and confident and caring, because he can change the world. Like, that's your purpose. So all this other stuff you do is great, and you have to do, you do or don't have to do it. But so that's what they're showing me about you. Your purpose has nothing to do with your job. They want you to do what makes you happy, but listen to people. So when you're like, okay, this creative thing makes me happy, but it's not producing the income I need, or I'm not clicking with people, take that time and figure out why. Get like honest feedback from people. Ask yourself, your higher self, and just write it down. And then what are you going to do to change it? And write that down. And then know that it takes time.
Okay, I think you're saying that you're saying that I need to do some like reflecting on how I am showing up in the workplace. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, they're showing me people have told you before. It's just like go back and reflect on what they've said and what you've dismissed. And then when you do, you can, and again, it'll take practice. I don't feel like it's a huge turn. I feel like it's like a small turn, but an impactful one.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Already answered. Okay. I think I got this. And lots in the chat. Thank you. I'm going to go back to the top. Okay. John. Okay. So Susie, your brother, John, you wanted to hear from him. So I actually had a guy named John come through ahead of time. And the way he said it is, and I don't know if this is your brother, but the way he got me to write down the word name John, because names don't really come to me, even though like a company may, is he called himself like Papa John. And so whether or not this is him or somebody else's John or somebody else that's Papa, so keep an open mind, open your aperture here, is I got like kind of a bigger guy with like great bear hugs, like not hard ones, but like he was soft and fluffy bear hugs. And he said he had a heart attack, and he gave that to me in two ways. One is he started singing the Achy Breaky Heart. And then he also sang the song. Well, wait, that part doesn't have to do with the heart attack, but How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. Does Susie, does this make sense with your brother?
Not my John, but hopefully somebody else's.
Okay. He's very engaging, emotionally connected. And if John isn't the right word, just like take that out, because like I said, names aren't my best here. Emotionally connected, just kind of empathetic, I would say. Also a bit of a people pleaser. He was like, anything you want, you know, what have you, he would be there. He, you know, you want a glass of water, he's going to go get you a glass of water. You don't worry, you don't need to get up, kind of thing. He wants you to know, like, I feel like he passed very quickly, like heart attack, just like, and I'm gone. And he said he felt it coming on, like in the moment. And he was like, oh, sure, what's this? And he wants you to know that he wasn't scared. And then he goes, oh, well, maybe a little scared, but only for a minute or a second or a couple seconds, because then it was over. So he wants you to know he's okay. That's what I got. I don't know if anyone can take that. But so I'll let that go. Looking at more questions here. It's not easy to scroll on this thing sometimes. Okay, Evelyn, I'd like to ask about my relationship I have right now. Is this where I will stay forever, or am I moving on? Never done this in my first time, and I know maybe my question is not straight. So you want to basically know if the relationship you're in is the right one for you. So are you married or dating? Can you just like call it out? Join us online. Did I lose you? Okay, so I got for now is is the answer. So people come into your life for a reason or season or a lifetime. And for now, I feel like for a season, could be a lifetime, but it would take more work than, and you would have to decide, and he would have to decide if you're willing to put it in. So if that's the case, then it could be for a lifetime. Gotta love how clear answer is sometimes. Scrolling. Susie, I'm still looking for your brother, John. Elizabeth, let me know what your mom's name is so I can more directly call her.
Yes. Hello. Her name is Danielle Krill, and she passed in November of 2019.
Okay, thank you. So everyone, if you can just kind of take a few breaths and ask Susie's brother John to come forward and Danielle to come forward. Okay. So I do have a woman stepping forward. She shows me she passed from cancer or something to do with the head. She shows me that by a head wrap. Normally that's my sign for cancer, but it can be a head or that she wore a head wrap specifically. Elizabeth, would that connect with your mom?
Yes, she wore headbands all the time in her hair.
Okay.
She didn't have cancer, but she wore headbands.
Okay, great. So she's showing me, I feel like she's kind of short. I'm gonna use the word spunky. She would be, I feel like she would be quiet and sit back, but then when she started talking, she'd be like, da, 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 da. Does that make sense with your mom? Okay. So she's showing me it was a long health passing. Does that make sense to you? Okay, but then she also like smacks me in the head, like something to her head, and it hit her quickly. That makes any sense?
Yes, it was very fast.
Okay.
Out of the blue, very sudden.
Would it be fair to say she consciously ignored symptoms? Like, she makes me feel like she didn't help herself much. Like she knew something was going on, but didn't really accept that.
Well, it was hard to accept because we thought that it was caused by a certain injection for osteoporosis. And so she was having symptoms which we attributed to that, but they were actually symptoms that ended up taking her life.
Oh,
yes.
Yikes. Okay. She's saying there was nothing that could be done. Do you also have a brother?
Yes.
Okay, she's talking about your brother. A brother and a sister?
No, her brother, she has one brother.
What about you?
Only child.
Okay, then she must be talking about her brother.
Or my two boys that are brothers. My two boys, maybe.
Sorry, she's walking around my house and organizing it, so I don't know if that was like a thing for her.
Yeah.
Okay, like come back. So she's saying she's with her brother, but she's not showing me if her brothers in spirit are here. I feel like he's in spirit, so she wants you to know that she's with family. Does that make sense? Is that correct?
Well, her brother is actually still on Earth, but
Okay.
I know that she is, I'm sure, with other family members.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's spending time with her brother for other reasons.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So that's the message she has, is she's taking care of him.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, this name is all running together, Kiana, and I'm not wearing my glasses. So I have an overwhelming sadness and anxiety that has made me feel stuck. I feel like a deer in headlights with life in general. Will I ever overcome this, and how? I feel like it's preventing me from becoming successful or even present. So short answer, yes, you will overcome it. Going back to whoever said they discovered they were an empath, part of your sadness is you absorbing all of everybody else's sadness in the world and grief and fear. And I just see you holding the world oh my God, I can't hold it anymore, like that. And a gift to be an empath, not a gift to carry the weight of the world. So letting that shit go. So recognizing you are carrying all of this, everybody's feelings, because you have the gift to absorb those feelings. However, it's just not, that doesn't benefit you one bit, right? So unless it's happy stuff, right? I'll take your happy feelings. But you don't want to take the icky ones. And so I'll give you an example is when John McCain passed away, what was that, 2 years ago, something now? He passed for a week, I was crying and bawling, crying, couldn't get out of bed. I was like, something's wrong with me. Why am I so upset about this guy? And I think he's a politician, but I'm not really sure because I don't watch TV and I don't care about that stuff and blah, blah, blah. Right. So I go to, or I was before COVID, going to Unity Church in Oakton. And Jean-Marie says to me, Cheryl, you're picking up everyone else's grief. That's why you're so upset. I was like, oh, and once she said that, I just had this visualization of me taking it and holding a basketball and pushing it off me. And then I was like, oh, and I'm fine. So know that that's part of it, is that you are carrying everyone else's stuff. So, wash that shit away, throw that basketball off of you. That will help you tremendously. And then, but that's not just a one and done thing, because you are this open vessel. So I'm going to say, and everybody else here probably can chime in with protective measures and cleansing measures. I always like to pretend I'm Wonder Woman and I have a force shield, and I'm like, so I've got this force shield around me and nothing can get in unless I let it. And then I take a salt bath every night, and that's my excuse to sit in the bathtub. So that's part of it.
Would my guide say that's part of my purpose, or am I just cursed with this for the rest of my life?
No, I mean, your purpose, part of your purpose is to be an empath, but with that doesn't mean you have to take on everyone else's shit. And apparently I've said shit 12 times already, so I don't know if anyone's tallying. So you don't have to take it on. They want, he just goes, I want you to use it for good, just like that. Use it to your advantage, not to your disadvantage. So when it becomes a disadvantage and you just feel like I can't even get out of bed or whatever, do that. So the other thing is, do you feel like, I know we're all in COVID, so you're going to be like, well, you're throwing a softball, like everyone's isolated, right? But are you like self-isolating, like even more so?
I don't even know if I'm not doing it on purpose. I just don't know anybody. And like, I've just gone through so much crap that I'm like, not very pleasant to be around.
Well, now you have 30 new friends sitting here on the phone with you. And I bet every single one of us would be there if you gave us a call at 10 o'clock at night. But not 10, not 11. That's a little late. But just kidding. But no, I mean, this is what's amazing about community and about connecting with other people. And I know it's so hard with COVID right now to create that connection. But you know people, they just may not be next door.
No, I think like something weird's happening. Like people are dropping like flies. Like people are like, for example, like the lady across the street just went crazy on me for no reason and accused me of hiding in the bushes. Like just the craziest stuff.
Well,
and I'm like,
I mean, unless you actually were hiding in the bushes, that's her thing. That's not yours.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was not hiding in anybody's bushes, I assure you.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Thank you.
Oh, but I feel so your guides are telling me to open this up to see if anyone else has any thoughts or guidance as well.
Cheryl, I can relate to her because I mean, I'm fairly new in the spiritual world and I actually just private messaged her as well. It takes a lot.
Oh, you muted, Daniel.
Sorry, so the host muted. No, I mean, it takes a lot to deal with and there's like a lot of grounding that I constantly have to do because I'm the same way where I just absorb so many feelings where then I do boggle myself down to the point that I feel like I can't get out of bed and I'm like constantly exhausted. So it's a matter of like taking the time, for me at least, I take the time that I need to be by myself. And if that does include sometimes just isolating myself and not going out with my family or whoever, just to kind of reflect. And I do this soft baths too. I do like walking around on the grass. I mean, I just got 2 German Shepherds, so like taking them for walks and like leaving my phone at home and just like disconnecting. So I think she could definitely find things that work for her, and she could feel free to also text me, message me, because we're all here, like you said. And it's good to know you have people. Absolutely. It's good to know you have people around that like understand what you're going through, because it could be a lot when you're not used to it.
Go ahead, Carol.
I just wanted to say I empathize because I've in the last couple of years, I felt a lot of things, people and things that I thought would never fall away, falling away. And I've come to feel much more isolated and really perplexed. And then sometimes just really pissed off. So I can say I empathize. I can say sometimes it feels like being a stranger in a strange land. And people will go wacko at times in a really unexpected way. For myself, I don't have every solution, but the solutions I found are a couple. One is if I get the hell out of the house and I go look at the sky, and I really look up at the sky day or night, my perspective shifts radically from the pain I'm feeling inside or just the lack of vision from being inside too much. And I just lose my perspective on life. I get claustrophobic in my own trip or home. So going outside by water or just looking at the sky day or night is tremendously relieving and healing and mind opening. And the other thing I've done is I wasn't raised Catholic, although I respect a lot of the Catholic mystics very much, very, very deeply. But sometimes I'll go to a nearby Catholic church to their little bitty chapel. And when nobody's listening, I can talk to their statue of Jesus or their garden where there's a statue of Mother Mary. And I find going to those holy places, and when nobody's listening or doing it to myself, I just have a real heart to heart with Mother Mary or Jesus. And when there's not a human that I can go to, I find that it's tremendously helpful to go talk to, you know, these other great beings, you know, and the Catholic churches with their fabulous statues make it really easy. So I just want to offer you that and say just that I too am someone you can reach out to if you care to.
Thank you.
And I know you're getting uncomfortable with the attention, but I'll just say one more thing. I can feel that. You know, you mentioned not wanting to be that like Debbie Downer and going out with people. And if you think about, you know, you pulling a friend out of the house because you're like, you're coming with me, we're going to have a great time. And they were like, no, I don't even want to get out of my pajamas. And then they come and they have an amazing time. Okay. So this time you have to like, you know, get that friend to pull you, or just recognize that you can kind of change that. While I don't see anything medical going on with you, like I said, I'm not a doctor, but it's always helpful to, you know, talk to a therapist or just check that out anyway. But I feel like it's something that is like the blessing and a curse. Like you have this great empathic energy that you can put out that attracts stuff that you need to release. But I'd say fake it till you make it, but go out and go be with people. Isolating yourself is just making it worse. Okay.
Thanks.
Danielle, advice on growing your business. So they're not saying where you should be, but they're also showing me that going inland, like they're showing me like going inland and then north. So kind of like Minnesota, Canada. Did I just say it like a Minnesotan? Minnesota. Going inward and then north will be a long-term play for you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your business physically goes there. It could still be some virtual aspects to it. But that's where I'm seeing the growth.
I'm just a little confused. So I'm in Jersey.
Okay.
So
inland and north.
Okay.
Like Midwest. Go to the Midwest and then go north is what they're showing me. I'm not seeing like, you can stay in Jersey, but your attention may need to be, you're doing the construction stuff, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, wow, like that's crazy because I'm New York and just like really Jersey, sometimes Pennsylvania and Florida, but Midwest is like, huh?
Yeah, no, they're saying go where there's space.
Okay.
So, yeah, there'll be more people want to move where there is space to move.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Mm-hmm. You guys hear all the crashing in my kitchen. My daughter got home. James, I'm trying to connect with your guides on whatever they want to say.
I'm here.
Thanks. Okay. Have you heard that song by James Blunt that says you're beautiful? You're
Yes.
beautiful. Okay.
Yes.
So that's the first message I got for you is how beautiful you are, what an amazing soul you are, what a great heart you have. And then your guides and sometimes guides present themselves to me, they'll kind of relate themselves to oh my God, what's the word? A famous person. Jesus. A famous person. But so I get this typical Italian mafia guy. And he's like, but you need to listen. I can't do an accent. You need to listen to me. Like you are not listening. So they're like, you keep questioning and questioning. And should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? They're like, how many times do I have to tell you? Pick up your socks, right? Like a mom would say. That you have such a strong connection and you need to trust it. Like that's the big. Does that make sense?
I will. Thanks.
Okay. I know that wasn't super specific.
My question wasn't specific either, so it was perfect.
That's okay. It's okay. Denise, I'm still asking for your brother, Susie, or John to come through. Denise, full-time job.
He's very stubborn.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I could control them. I can't control them any more than I control my kids. So, okay, Janice, say your guides. I swear to God, it's like this Motown guy singing, but he's like dancing like this. And he's singing, but then he's dancing like that. He's singing Motown, but then he's singing, looking for jobs in all the wrong places, like looking for love in all the wrong places. Yeah. So, yeah, sorry, I had to sing for that so you can get it. But he wants you to change your focus. And I'm just seeing like this super caring person, and you are doing things that don't align with who you are. And that's why it's just not clicking for you. It may require some additional training or certifications or something. Is that jiving?
Sorry. You don't mean like office work or anything, because that drives me nuts.
No.
I can't stand office work.
No, more like a caring healthcare kind of thing, caregiver, something where you're dealing with people and you're sharing your love and your ears, and like that sounds weird, your ears, you're listening and you're just being there for somebody. What have you been doing?
Well, before I had my knee replaced, I was a substitute teacher.
Okay.
And before that, I was a social worker. So
maybe a little caring.
I have helped people, but the volunteer job that I have is working with a radio station. And I have my own show that's on Thursday nights that I call my daughter because I don't have any other children. And I'm having a lot of fun with that. So I like to expand on that. I'm not saying that, helping people isn't good, because I have had that.
Mm-hmm.
But I had that for a while between social work and
teaching, mm-hmm.
substituting, and working for a couple of different hospitals in Harrisburg and the whatnot. So I have had that type of life. But what I really want is the communication side.
So what's your radio show?
It's a reggae radio show. So I'm surprised that Bob Marley didn't show up, because it shows up in my dreams.
That's awesome. So you're like a DJ, like on the
Yes.
radio? Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's cool. What station is that?
It's on Radio Fairfax. It's Thursday nights, 7 p.m. And I'm called Goddess Janice. In fact, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Time for World Reggae Party with me, Goddess Janice. Rah, rah, rah. So, and rah, rah, rah is, what they usually put in their music. There's a lot of different catchphrases, but rah, 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 it goes back to the sun god, which is part of the evolution of Rastafarism anyway. So, see, I feel communications is a better fit than working with people, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. Might have to be a combination or a way you're doing communications in relation to the caring world, if you will. So your turn. The only other thing they're saying is the way you're going about finding that job, you'll find it through your network and your network and their network and that kind of thing. And like, I feel like it's 3 degrees from Kevin Bacon, not 6. But I don't feel like it's necessarily like, the person that will hire you, but the person that knows the person that knows the person. So like really expanding out and being very deliberate about how you're going about that. And that I feel like it can happen fairly quickly, but that you have to make it happen.
Okay.
Cool.
Because I have a mentor
good.
that I was just basically given this year, who does a lot of film, but she knows her stuff, which is good.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Alice, I know we have like 7 minutes left. I didn't know if there was, if I could keep.
Actually, Cheryl, we usually quit at 1:45. I forgot to mention that to you. So anyway, but unless somebody else has a burning question that has to be answered, we don't want to cut you off, but we do like to have time for the prayer and have everybody put in. I know we have a lot of people on board today, but I feel really strongly that everybody should be able to give voice to those they want to put in a prayer circle. So was there any last one, Cheryl, on the list or anything?
There's a bunch of questions left, and I'll just say, feel free to, I'm going to do some group readings that are smaller group that are easier, so we can spend a little more time together, but it'll still be like, 7 strangers that live in a house kind of thing. So I have several of those coming up, and they're cheaper, and you get some good time focused on you and your issues or opportunities. So feel free to go to SoulConX, SoulConX. I'll put it in the chat, and you can book that. And we have a bunch of other practitioners too. And so anyway, I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you all today.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very, very much. It was, it's always, to me, I'm always so grateful for the variety that the speakers bring forward. And, I can do mediumship, but I can't do it in the way you do it. So I really stand in awe of that. And thank you. All right, so if you would very gently close your eyes, we're going to start our prayer. And put your hands on your lap in what I call the receptive position. And I'll call your names on the way I see you on the screen. I think that'll be the easiest. Or actually, I'm going to call your names in alphabetical order. I'll just call them down the, they're going to start with what I see on my sidebar. So we'll start there. All right, and Cheryl, you know the drill because you've been with us before, so because you're going to be second. All right, so take a deep breath in and exhale. Dear Mother, Father, God, Divine Infinite Spirit, source of all that is, we thank you once again for all the amazing teachers that you bring to us. And we thank you for Cheryl's wisdom, knowledge, willingness to share, to be with us, and to bring in the souls that needed to be connected. And we ask for special healing for the following: my son, my daughter-in-law, my grandbaby, the Jones family, Sweeney family, Zarnopoulos family, all those who are on the verge of getting married this year, all those who have relationships that they're distressed about, and anybody working through issues that they are really frightened about knowing the results. We ask for special healing for them. And Cheryl.
Thank you. I'd like to ask for healing for my mom, Pat, and for those in heaven that have just passed, my boss, Greg, and my uncle Bruce. And for those who are having mental health challenges and wondering their purpose and wondering if this would be their last day. Thank you.
Thank you. Janice.
I want to send some healing to my brother Jimmy that passed 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, to his wife Sherry and their 3 sons. I want to send some healing to myself, to the teachers and the medical workers that are still fighting COVID, and for us to return to normal. Thank you.
Thank you. Crystal.
Thank you, Alice. I just want to send healing to my family, the Craighead family, the Hessler family, and the Allen family, and everyone on this call tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Jane.
I want to send healing to my twin brother and my family there, and also to my husband's family and to my good friend Joyce.
Thank you. Joe.
I lift up my sister Anne and my relationship with her. Pray for Rocky and Zen, and for animals who suffer everywhere. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Monica.
I'm going to pray for Robert and also for Patricia.
Thank you. Alice Crum.
Healing for Steve, for Maria and family, for Stephen and family, especially Spencer, and for Bonnie, who is facing health issues. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. For Carol.
I'd like to special prayers for my cousin Shelley and her mom Mary, for her kitty, who I think his name's Shadow, but if I got that wrong, for her kitty. Also for Beanie and Buddy, Mac, and myself, my brothers and their families, for this earth herself, and all ecosystems and all animals and all creatures and all plants, for this earth and all who live here in captivity or free. May all be blessed, may all be provided for, may all be safe, may all have good homes. Just Thank you, God. Please, we need your intercession profoundly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol. James.
I'd like to send healing to everyone in the meeting, special healing to those suffering from addiction, hopelessness, and despair. Cindy, Ray, Marianne, Bob, Matt, Jana, Evelyn, Caroline, Christine, Michael, Metatron, Mom, Dad, and Daniel. And Cheryl, thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. And Jane, I don't know if I called on you.
Yes, you did.
I did. Okay. Joyce.
There we go. My sister Janice, my friend Pam, my husband, and the world.
Thank you. Christine.
I just want to first say thank you, Cheryl, for being with us tonight and lending your beautiful gifts. I would like to ask for healing for my mom, my dad, for my papa, for my mame, my grandma Doris, also for Benny, for Cricket, for Michael Fish, for James, for myself. I would also like to send healing to what's going on over in Israel right now and to India as well, and to everyone here on the call tonight and to Gaia. Thank you.
Thank you. Connie. Okay. Connie, you'll need to unmute yourself.
So
There.
sorry about that. I'd like to, first of all, thank Cheryl for being here with us tonight and ask for healing for my mother, for Julia, for Bob, and for myself, for all the first responders, for Mother Earth, and all of those who suffer from addiction.
Thank you. Eve.
Also, thank you, Cheryl. And I'd like to ask for healing for my immediate and extended family, for Jackie and Ollie, for myself, and for all of those who feel isolated and lonely.
Thank you. Evelyn.
Hi, I'm sorry, I'm at work. I just would like to ask for healing for my grandma. She's in the hospital, healing for, my relationship. I don't know where this is going, for my kids, my family, and for everyone in this chat. Thank you, Cheryl, for everything.
Thank you. Kiana. And Kiana, welcome. She comes to us from Nevada.
I want to say thank you, Cheryl, and everybody on this chat, and I wish you all wellness and healing. I would like to wish healing for my family and all of the relationships, those even in conflicts. I just hope we all get better and come to a higher vibration. I pray for all of the animals, especially those in the shelters who need homes. I pray for my animal. I hope he lives forever. And just for the wellness of my son. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lisa.
I'd like to send healing to my Aunt June, my little nephew Franco, and my nephew Jay, and myself.
Thank you. And Monica.
For Robert and Patricia.
And Theon. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
Hi, I want to
pray for my husband to just kind of be able to heal himself and overcome his struggles. And also my family, my friends, and everyone in this chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And did I call on everybody, or is there anybody I did not call on? Okay. All right. Thank you. And we thank the angels, the archangels, the ascended masters, the Reiki masters, but most especially, we thank Master Jesus, Master Buddha, Master Katumi, Saint Francis, Saint Germain, Saint Gabriel, Saint Raphael, Saint Michael, the Blessed Mother, the Divine Feminine, Mary Magdalene, Moses, Metatron, Melchizedek, Mohammed, and Kuan Yin, for being a part of the ascended masters that guide us, for always being with us. We ask for the special healing of Metatron and his angels. And we also thank the great rays for their mastery, the archangels of the rays and the masters of the rays. And we ask that we be cleared, centered, aligned, balanced, and grounded. And we ask all of this in the name of Jesus the Christ and in the name of I am. Amen. Namaste. Namaste. And I thank you all for being here. I thank Cheryl once again. It's always wonderful to be in your presence, and you've just, I wish your new company the incredible good luck, for your future and everything. So next week, I will be on at 6:15 p.m. for anybody who wants to just get free Reiki healing. And then at 7:30, the presentation will be on healing yourself through your root chakra, through your higher self. And it'll be channeled. It'll probably be a meditation. I'm never really sure. I get the work as they want to give it to me, and sometimes it's the date of the presentation. So I never really know much in advance what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it, but it always comes out perfectly. And then the following week, May 24th, our paid speaker will be Roz Kincaid. She has a radio program of Voice. It's not Voice of America, it's called Voice America. And and I don't think she decided what her subject was, but it may be on the Rays of Healing website by now and everything. And again, I thank you for your contributions. I thank everybody who has contributed or can contribute. It helps us keep going, and just am again thrilled to always share this Monday night with you. And we'll hopefully see you next week. Thank you again,
Alice. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Have a great night.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Alice. Thank you,
Hi,
Cheryl.
Jill.
Have a great
Bye.
night.
Thank you.
You.
All right.